Welcome to the Justice for Orphans There's No Place Like Home virtual fundraising event. I'm Sandra Flack, Executive Director of Justice for Orphans, and I'm thankful that you are here tonight joining us for the next 90 minutes of fun and inspiration. Before we get started, I want to just give a big shout out of thanks to our sponsors and also a shout out to our watch party peeps. We have a couple of churches, 3 churches actually, Abounding Love Christian Fellowship, House of Glory, Mount Moriah, and also the folks at Crystal Clear Finances are all hosting watch parties tonight. So we want to say hello to all of you. And I want to introduce one of our Justice for Orphans board members. Eric Bessenfelder is here with Mercy and Juliana. And I just want to ask Eric, because I know that you and Sandy are parents of 5 biological daughters, and you became foster parents. How many years have you been fostering?
About 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
And how has being a foster parent and an adoptive parent impacted your life?
Well, I think early on, it was kind of an opportunity for me to kind of be a little bit bolder and to make a step to do something that might be a little bit out of my comfort zone a little bit. So that kind of was one of the most important things that really impacted me myself. Sandy, though, was no stranger to foster care, so she was really excited at first, and she wanted to do jump right into that. But with me, it's like, oh, I had to just analyze things. But it really certainly gave me some boldness, and we're certainly it seems like we're doing a good job, the best we can, and so we're certainly it's a good thing. So
yeah. Your wife Sandy, she grew up. Her parents did foster care as well.
Yes, that's correct, and they. I think there's a number that they have, and it was close to 69 children that they taken care of just in her family, and then to continue on with us, we nearly had 30 children that we've worked with over the years. So between the 2 families, we helped about 100 kids. So whatever capacity we could do, either through a respite, short-term foster placement, or and to adoption too as well.
Awesome. Well, let's see. You have these precious girls with you, yes. Mercy and Juliana. Yeah. You want to face the camera, girls? And what do you have to say?
There's no place like home.
Amazing. You want to help me give away some prizes? All right. So for our folks, why don't you hold that? Don't take a name out yet. You hold it for me. Face the camera. So stand by your dad. We have some coffee from a local coffee roaster, Greater Things Roasters. And this is fresh roasted coffee. It smells so yummy. Can you smell that? Isn't that awesome? And for our folks, smells like toast. For our folks who pre-registered to get the link to this event, we have your names in our jar here, and the girls are going to each draw a name. So Mercy, you want to reach in there and grab a name? I'll take it and read it. Lisa Cooper. We're going to send Lisa some coffee and I'll tell you all about Lisa after. So, and Juliana, let Juliana grab a name out of there. This is cool. Carol McNaughton. So congratulations to our winners. We will be sending you some coffee. I'll let you hold on to that. I want to, before we toss it over to our first comedian, I also want to let everybody know that Crystal Clear Finances has stepped up with a matching gift. So the first $2,500 in donations tonight will be doubled. So if you give $25, it becomes $50. If you give $50, it becomes $100. So you can see the number. You can text the word give to 518-219-8139. You can also give online at justicefororphansny.org. So make sure that you do that. And we also want to let you know that monthly gifts. So if you can give a gift of $25, $30, $50 a month, that's a huge blessing to our ministry. So I am going to toss it off before I do that, chat box. If you're watching this on Facebook, right, you can chat. And if you're making comments and chatting and saying things, your name will also go in because we have more prizes that we're going to be giving away throughout the evening. But we only know you're watching if you put some comments there in the chat box. So make sure you do that. And now I'm going to hand it off to our first comedian, Gordon Douglas. Our comedians were with us live back at the end of July. I know Eric was there. And so you're going to enjoy our two comedians. Our first one that is up tonight is Gordon Douglas. We will be back very soon after that with some more special guests, more folks on the hot seat. We have another adopted young lady and another family coming in who are also board members. We're going to give away some swag. So we really want you to enjoy the show. I'm going to let the girls, you want to practice your lines again? You want to say it again? So tell our listeners what you know. Ready? Go.
There's no place like home.
We agree. There's no place like home. So we want you to enjoy this next 90 minutes of inspiration and fun. Enjoy the show. We'll be right back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage, Gordon Douglas.
All right. That was worth waiting for. That was good. 4 months to hear people and clapping. Thank you for coming. Oh, there is no place like the stage for me. And our theme tonight, there is no place like home. It is great being with family and doing stuff. Oh my goodness, it is good stuff. I love what I do. Has it been hot up here in New York? Has it been hot? It's been crazy. Last week I was in Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. And it was 94 when I got to the hotel at 11 at night. But I just got a call to do a show in Alaska. I asked my agent, will I be entertaining Eskimos? She said, oh, Gordon, we don't say Eskimos anymore. That's not politically correct. Yeah, they're now called frozen Americans. God, you were laughing. You guys are ready to laugh. We need to laugh. It is good medicine, isn't it? We're not afraid of no stinking virus. We're going to heal ourselves with laughter. That's good stuff. Because the last time I was up here in this area, I was in Providence, Rhode Island, I guess north of Philly, which is my home. And right across the street from where I did the show was a NASCAR race. They were closing the track. It was the last NASCAR race. And honestly, I don't get it. I'm not a NASCAR guy. I have ADD. I don't get it. I don't even know what NASCAR stands for. Do you? I had to Google it. It's a non-athletic sport centered around rednecks. They were all proud, and after my show, they took me on a tour around Providence. There's an airport. They said, oh, look, there's the Patriots airplane. Like I couldn't tell. It had Patriots all over it. I knew it was theirs. The tires were underinflated. Oh, we got one boo. We got a boo. That's okay. God bless America. You can have your own opinions. That's good stuff. Oh, my goodness. So it has been fun. People ask, I've been doing comedy for 40 years. You have a favorite audience. You have a favorite audience. I don't have to think. 3 words. Women of faith. Oh, 20,000 women and me. I feel like a piece of chocolate cake at a Weight Watchers convention. Women laugh 7 times more than men. Can you pick that up already? All the women are laughing. All the men are like, is there cake? Is there cake? Chocolate cake? Oh, it's fun. People ask, what's the toughest audience you ever had? I don't have to think about that. 600 Amish dairy farmers last year. That's more noise than they made in an hour right there. No, people don't think the Amish have a sense of humor. They do, because God's given every one of us the need to laugh, the ability to laugh. And a verse in the Bible for us Baptists, it says, there's a time to laugh. And when they introduced me as the father of 19 kids, one of the farmers yelled, rookie. But I wasn't thinking, know your audience, know your audience. I was telling car jokes like NASCAR. They just stared at me. So I had to think, oh my goodness, they don't laugh at car jokes. What do they laugh at? Well, my goodness, they're dairy farmers. They laugh at a cow joke, right? What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef, right? Everybody knows that. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. What do you call a cow with 2 legs? Lean beef, okay. What do you call a cow that just had a baby? Right? Decaffeinated. I'd start doing cow jokes. They started laughing. They invited me back next year, which is great, but I didn't sell one DVD that night. Yeah, only half of you got that. Yeah, I was halfway home before I figured it out. Next year, bring a generator, bring a generator. People ask me, what's your favorite event? I don't have to think about that. Last year, I got to go on a singles cruise. Everyone say, ooh. You know what I learned on a singles cruise? There's a reason some people are single. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. My Patriots fan, what age do you think? What age do you think is on a singles cruise? Just give me a ballpark. I'm not picking on you. 20s and 30s. That's what I would have thought. We would be wrong. It's like 60 and over. Yeah, they were wrinkled before they got in the hot tub. That's what I'm saying. It was an old group. My wife heard me on the phone. I'll do it. She said, what was that? I said, my agent just called, asked if I wanted to go on a singles cruise. My wife said, can I go? I said, I'm confused. You want to go on a singles cruise or you don't trust me on a singles cruise? She didn't even blink. She said, 3 days at sea? You could start to look good. Just so you know, I'm at my peak right now. This is as good as I've ever been. I just had my 45th high school reunion. Man, do things change in 45 years, don't they, grandparents? Yeah, like the homecoming queen. Oh, time has not been kind. And I looked at all the girls who wouldn't date me in high school. I said, look what you gave up. That's not a joke. Why are you clapping for that? I have gained 68 pounds since high school. 6'3" and 119 pounds when I graduated. That is skinny. Yeah, when your pajamas only have one stripe, that is skinny. How many people do you know have to keep wallets in both pockets just so people think you have a hiney? I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Oh, I struggled in high school. That's why I wrote the book. You saw my book, Growth Spurts and Growing Pains, The Struggles of a Skinny Stud Muffin. They actually painted a picture of me on there. It talks about 10 of the best things I ever did that brought me love, joy, and peace into my life. And I also want to be honest, it says 10 of the stupidest things I ever did. Things that hurt me and hurt others. Things I want my kids to know. Things that I want my grandkids to know. And it has 150 jokes. Jokes by people I grew up with, good, clean comedians that were on Ed Sullivan, like Phyllis Diller. Did you know she was in a beauty pageant once? Yep, she came in last, but got 600 get well cards. So I love those kind of jokes. So it's been fun. So anyway, where was I? Cruise ship. I was on a cruise ship. So my wife goes with me on a cruise ship. Why? Because I've learned this. When mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Do you know the second part of that? When Papa ain't happy, nobody cares. Thank you. Can I take you on the road? That's good. You're right on it. She's right on it. That's good stuff. So I do a couple shows on the way from Miami to Key West to Cozumel, Mexico. We get down on the beach of Cozumel. Oh my goodness, is there temptation on the beaches of Cozumel, Mexico? Have you seen the bathing suits girls are wearing today? I have seen more material in an eye patch. But I love the Lord. I love my wife. I want to honor her. I look at the ocean, look at my wife. Look at the ocean, look at my wife. 3 of the younger girls on the singles cruise want to sit next to me, the celebrity, the comedian, put their chairs right next to my wife and I. She takes off her little jacket. I'm trying to look at the ocean, look at my wife. She's putting on sunblock. That's good. The body's a temple. Take care of it. But I couldn't help but notice out the corner of my eye, a little black ring around her belly button. I look closer. It's a tattoo of a snowflake. I yelled at my wife, look. 10 years and 3 kids, and that's going to be a spider web. Sorry to the pregnant woman in the back. I'm just saying. I get to speak at high schools all over the country on love, sex, and dating. And I want them to know about decisions. There are decisions we make today that will have consequences later. Amen? So I tell kids all the time, think before you ink. Think before you ink. Think before you ink. What am I saying? I'm saying this. That butterfly on your back today is the buzzard in your butt tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. Think about the decisions, what we do, where we go, who we're with. We got to learn to make good choices. So that's a little bit about my travels. I keep mentioning my 19 kids. People say, is that a joke or are you exaggerating? And no, we don't have 19 kids. We have 24. I just don't like 4 of them. Now, how in the world did we end up with 24 kids? Well, we were told we couldn't have kids when we got married. And I was the angry, hurting kid that shares that in my book, that at one time wanted to end my life because I thought, if this is as good as life gets, I don't want to be here anymore. But then I found out there's a God who loves me, a God who had a plan for me, a God who sent his son for me, a God who wanted me in his family. And I thought, wow, that changed everything. And it brought me love and joy and peace. And my life changed and my comedy changed. It was awesome. And God will never make a bad thing good. But God can make something good come out of a bad thing. And he took this angry, hurting heart and gave me a heart for hurting kids. So I was going around speaking to youth groups, and I'd call kids, if you need a friend, if you need help, call me. And you know what? When you offer love and hope to a world looking for love and starving for hope, people call. And the next thing you know, a boy said, you spoke at my camp. You said you help kids. I need help. And his parents signed over legal custody, and we got our first kid. A few weeks later, he said, I have a friend in trouble. Could he come here too? And we had 2. And a few weeks later, we had 3. And the next year it was 6. And then all of a sudden we had 9. And then the local prison called and said, we're too crowded. Could somebody watch prisoners? So we took in 2 people under house arrest. During this time, my father-in-law, Charlie, had a stroke. You saw a picture of Charlie. Charlie moved in because he couldn't care himself. And he brought his son, Chucky, who has Down syndrome. And you want to know God's unconditional agape love, you better know somebody with Downs. Chucky loved everybody. Didn't care what color your skin was, how much money you made. Oh, he gives the best hugs. Chucky and Charlie lived with us 18 years before the Lord took them both home 3 weeks apart. But we had a father-in-law with a stroke, a brother-in-law with Downs, 2 people under house arrest, 3 boys with alcohol abuse issues. And then God showed he had a sense of humor and blessed us with 5 birth babies. 4 before they told me what was causing it. We have fun at our house, though we do. Whenever someone visits, we line up all our kids in the living room and we play a game. It's called Guess Which One is the Convict? And you know what's interesting? You cover up the ankle bracelet, people can't tell. I love when I do comedy clubs. I'll ask them, what's the difference between the pastor and the prisoner? Do you know the difference in God's eyes between the pastor and the prisoner? He got caught. Ooh, the pastors never laugh at that. But my Bible says, for all have sinned. And I may not have done the same things, but I sure wanted to. And I did a lot of stuff I hope you never find out. But God knew and loved me anyway. So that's a little bit about our family. So I love this. I got to jump over some of my kids. I have 24 kids now, 1 of each. Well, they are. They're all fearfully and wonderfully made, but they're all different. And how you treat them, how you raise them, what they respond to is one of the joys of parenting. So I got to jump over some, but we'll go right to my 14-year-old. My 14-year-old lost her ability to speak when she turned 14 without her head in her hip. Every conversation begins, Daddy. What is that? It's like an exclamation point for a teenage girl. What is that? Daddy, we got to go to the library. It's July. Do you do that in New York? You have homework in the summer? My kids have a math packet, a science packet. There's a list of books. They got to get a book and do a book report. We get to the library. She says, Daddy, you got to get a book too. Why do I have to get a book? I'm not in school. You said nobody could watch TV till we all did our reading. What goes for one goes for. Now, did y'all hear I was Parent of the Year? Did y'all hear that? Because nobody clapped. I didn't know if you heard. We got one. No, we are not the best parents, not are we perfect parents, but we've learned stuff. Like my oldest daughter moved back in with us for a year, 8 years ago. And she's blessed us with 4 grandkids. I hear her down the hallway. Timothy, Evan, Levi, Corbin, I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to count to 10. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm down the hall. 9. What happens when she finally gets to 10? The kid gets what? A timeout. A timeout. Did you get a timeout, sir? No, we didn't get a timeout. It was called a knockout. Timeout was how long you were unconscious. That's what a timeout was. Oh, my dad counted to 10, but it was after he hit you. 1, 2. They never want to say no to their kids. Man, my dad would say no and I would shake. Well, he was military. He would say no. Then I got to be 16. At 16, you get stupid. Because when I turned 16, my dad said no. And I said, why? And he said, because I. You've met my dad. But you know what? God's word says no over 600 times. There's places you shouldn't go, words you shouldn't say, things you shouldn't do, people you should avoid. And if you say why to God, he'll say, because I tricked you. We have parenting classes, don't we? And we have to learn it's because I love you. The rules are there for a reason, to protect you, to give you what is best. I got a whole thing on that, but I have to skip over that. Just giving you a little taste, Where was I? I was at the library. I'm back, ADD. My daughter says, I said it, I'll do it, because I'm parent of the year. When you say something, stick with it. You don't change the rules. You draw a line, they cross the line, there's a consequence. Not a new line, not a negotiation. So I said, honey, I said it, I'll do it. Go get a book on your list, I'll get a book too. And off she went. I start looking up and down the library for the thinnest book I could find, right? And I found it. It's the Book of Morals by Miley Cyrus. It's 2 pages longer than Britney Spears, but that's out of print right now. I have to speak in public high schools on love, sex, and dating. How are you going to talk about morality in a school where you're not allowed to quote from the best-selling book of all time? So I have to do a joke to introduce, are there morals? Are there rights and wrongs? Are there things that you should wear or not wear? How much skin do you think is right? How much are you showing? Where do you go? What do you do? Where are the lines? Let's role play here, because kids need boundaries. They need safe zones. They need the role play stuff. So it's important. Now, my son just went on his prom, 17 years old, deeper voice than mine, 17 years old, good basketball player, Philadelphia, number 11 in the city, scoring. Hey, Dad, basketball team's going to chip in to go to the prom. We're going to rent a limo. Do you rent limos up here in Schenectady? The Amish don't do that. Yeah, there's no stretch buggy. But I said, how much is this? $500. I said, where is your prom? It's at the country club at the end of our street. I said, son, let's put this in perspective. I went to my prom. It was my one and only date in high school, right? Where's Taylor? I lost Taylor out. We talked in the back. There you go, right in the beginning. Taylor, he just graduated. No prom, homeschooled, no prom. How bad would that be when you have to? But oh my goodness, nobody wanted to miss the prom in my day. That was like one day that meant everything. And I was one boy. I couldn't get a date. And there was one girl. She couldn't get a date. They put us together. It was a class project. I went home, Mom, I got a date to the prom. I need a tux. My mom, I'll make you a tux. Now, there's a difference between poor and cheap. We were poor because my dad was in a wheelchair most of my life from a brain tumor that left him paralyzed from the waist down. We had no money. I depended on hand-me-downs growing up. How many people had hand-me-downs growing up? All right, isn't that tough when you got an older sister? There are things in my closet I still don't know what to do with. I'm telling you what. But we're not just poor, we're cheap. My dad's Scottish, Gordon Douglas, Scottish people. He was cheap. He told us when the ice cream truck was coming down the road, if they're ringing the bell, it means they're out of ice cream. Every day we'd be on the porch, here it comes, ding, 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 ding. Oh, man. And I didn't go to my prom in a limo. I did not go to my prom in a limo. I went to my prom in a Volkswagen Bug with 6 other couples. You couldn't get road rage in a Bug. Somebody cut you off, you lay on the horn, what would it do? Beep. You can't get mad at that. It was a nasty little car. You had to crack the windows before you closed the door. You couldn't hear for a week. Turn on the radio, the car would slow up, right? Had that little heater in the front, would put a blister on your ankle while people in the back froze to death. You remember that? You tell me the Germans weren't mad after losing the war. Crazy stuff. But now I'm going on my first date in a homemade tux, and I'm a Baptist going to a dance. Oh, yeah, we didn't say the D word in my church. We're serious Baptists. We put lemon juice in the communion cup so nobody laughs in church. There's 3 of you here. I can see you. They haven't laughed yet. You know, if you keep laughs in, they're going to turn to tears or gas. It's going to come out. I'm just saying. Don't hold it in. I'm worried about this row over here. They look like Amish at Circuit City. They're just, open up, buddy, open up. Here we go. So I didn't know about dancing. The only thing I knew about dancing, I learned in 6th grade. In 6th grade, we all had to do what, parents? Square dance. Every state I've been in now, 38 states. Do you remember the square dance? We did the box step. Remember this? You go up and over and back and forth. 1, up and over and back and forth. Up and over. I did this all night long. My date stayed at the table. Taylor, I saw girls dance and I thought they were getting tasered. What is that? What is that crazy stuff? Now, last week I was in Oklahoma. I said, what did you learn in 6th grade? Somebody yelled hokey pokey. Yeah, they were homeschooled. But you know, John Stevenson passed away. The guy that wrote the hokey pokey passed away about 6 months ago, quietly in his sleep. There was no problems. They just couldn't get him in a casket. They put his right foot in. That was terrible. So. Now, my kid, out of all my kids, my daughter Kristen is my funniest. 19 years old, Kristen is funny. She's 5'10", long red hair all the way down her back, just like my wife. Oh, beautiful red hair. My youngest, Joy, is 5'2", short blonde hair. You would never know they're sisters. They look nothing alike, but on the phone, you can't tell them apart. Their voices are so similar. So my wife calls home. My daughter answers, hello. My wife said, hi, is this Kristen or Joy? My daughter said, it's Kristen. Is this mom or dad? She's quick. She's quick. She, like 7 of my kids, went off to Philadelphia Bible College. I wanted all my kids to get a year of Bible under their belt to help them prepare for the life after they get into college. And all that time when people want to sow their wild oats during those college years, man, you could get into big trouble in college. You don't sow your wild oats. You want to sow seed for good stuff. Get involved with Campus Crusade. David, my kids, it's mandatory. You must be involved with a campus group that's going to keep you safe because it's dangerous out there. And if I don't get a report on what your message was about, you're not getting a tuition check because it's that important to me. It's that important. I've seen too many kids screw up their life in college. But my daughter wants to serve the Lord. 14, God called her to be a missionary. And she couldn't wait to go to Bible college. And she calls me the day before Thanksgiving. Hey, Dad, I'm coming home tomorrow, packing up the car. Can't wait to see everybody. Oh, by the way, there's 4 kids from overseas. They got nowhere to go. Can I bring them home? What's another 4? So she did. And for the next 4 years, she hung out with these kids who came to America to study God's word so they could go back to their country and tell people about Jesus. That's who I want my kids hanging out with at college. That's good stuff. So she comes home, but she's 19. She's cool, Taylor. She's cool because she's 19 and she's in college. And she sits at the far end of our dinner table. There's a picture out there of our dinner table. And oh, listen, that's my alarm. Don't you wish every pastor did that? No? Okay, good answer. Good answer. No, good. That means I have 10 minutes left. All right, no, or an hour, something. I forget what it was. It was. No, we'll wrap up. So my daughter comes home. She's sitting at the far end of the table, and she's cool. She's in college, and I embarrass her because I'm funny. And so they sat her down there gabbing away. And halfway through the meal, my wife gives me the elbow. It's her love language. She said, Kristen has a question. So I said, go ahead, honey, 19 years old, 1 semester under your belt. Come on, stump the pastor. What do you want to know? Some Greek or Hebrew, some Bible trivia? And she said, Daddy, what would you think if I got married? And remember, Mommy was 19 when you married her. And it's true. My wife is 5-6 years younger than me. It's a little different. And I thought, oh, my goodness, what do I say? And I was panicking and thinking of an answer because I know the boy she likes, and there's a 10-year age difference. He's 9. And I just don't think his allowance can support you. No, he's the worship leader in our church. What's the difference between a pizza and a worship leader? A pizza can feed a family of 4. I'm just saying. Not a good joke for a fundraising night. I'm just saying, support these ministries, support people who are serving the Lord. We're here for Justice for Orphans. They're doing a great work. You guys can partner and change a life. I said, you may not be able to change the world, but I know this, you can change the world for one person. And by Care Portal, through the classes, for the gifts tonight, through inviting others to connect and partner, you may not be able to do what we do in our home, but that's what God's called us to. But God's got a place for you, and there is a life you can change. And you're going to learn more about that later. But we have a lot more fun to have. I can't wait for you to meet my friend Dan. We're going to bring Sandra up, and she's going to tell you more about the rest of the program. Thank you so much for letting me with you.
I'm here actually with an official Ukrainian princess. She is my Ukrainian princess, my daughter, Anna Flack. Anna, how are you today?
I am good.
You're good. You've been practicing your lines.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it? You want to practice it?
There's no place like home.
And she said it so seriously because when I asked her if she would say it the other day, she burst out laughing. So I thought, I don't know what that really means. But while we're waiting for our video to come up, we will do a giveaway. How about that? You want to give away some swag?
Sure.
I said swag, not swagger.
Okay.
Swag. Why don't we use our names? Because I don't know if anybody put anything in the chat box. Do we know? If not, more of our pre-registered folks are going to win some prizes. I'll give you a prize later. Okay. Well, it's not really live TV. It's live virtual live is interesting. So how about we tell them what we're going to give them? You want to tell them what we're going to give them? Actually, let's find out who won it first. Because if it's I don't want to give somebody something they already have. But this is an awesome Care Portal thermal cup. I really wanted this, but I don't think my name's in the drawing. You want to see who did you pick to win it?
Catherine Pierce.
Catherine Pierce. I know Catherine, great supporter of Justice for Orphans. You are going to win this awesome mug. Why don't you put that right with the name with it so we remember who actually won it? Because if not, we won't know. All right. We're going to raffle off all of our prizes tonight without during this whole segment. We're supposed to do this throughout the night. All right. Oh, Kim Tooney. I know Kimberly. I went to school with Kimberly, actually. All right. We're going to send her some coffee. Kim, you're going to get some coffee. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about, so this gives us a little bit of extra time, is our Care Portal platform. As many of you know, we are the implementers. Justice for Orphans implements Care Portal in the Capital Region here in upstate New York. We are in Schenectady County and Albany County so far. And we really believe, our organization believes that for kids, there's no place like home. And sometimes that's their biological family. Sometimes it's a kinship placement with a relative. Sometimes it's a foster family. And sometimes it's an adoptive family like my girl Anna here. So we wanted to really have an impact as an organization. Justice for Orphans, we adopted Anna about 13 years ago with her siblings. And it was after that my heart really was moved for the plight of the global orphan, but also I learned that there are orphans and the fatherless right here in the United States, almost 400,000 of them to be exact, are in the U.S. foster care system. So we established Justice for Orphans with a mission to really rally the church for the cause of the fatherless, for foster kids, vulnerable children. And we've been inspiring and educating the church to get involved in foster care and adoption. But one of the things we really wanted to do was to have a hands-on, boots on the ground impact here in our own community. So about 2 years ago, we implemented Care Portal, which is a technology platform that connects child welfare workers who are meeting with families in crisis on a daily basis. They identify needs that the family has, and sometimes those needs involve just stabilizing the biological family. Sometimes it's to help a kinship placement or a foster placement. So the caseworker will identify some needs for some material items. put that into the computer, which then it gets emailed out to our local churches that are participating in our platform, and our local churches have the opportunity to respond to those requests, fill those needs, connect with those families, and really make a life-changing difference. So I wanted to just share with you, we're going to use more technology, and let's pray that this technology works, a couple of requests that are actually right now within the Care Portal locally. And this one is the first one that I'm going to share with you, is to help prevent a child from entering foster care. We have a single mom who has 3 children under the age of 4. She has limited resources, but her great grandmother is willing to transport her to the store and to appointments. But mom needs 2 car seats for her children, so that they can be in the car and be transported. And that is just one of about 27 requests in the system. One of our local churches stepped up to meet that request, and so that mom is getting helped. There's another one that really touched my heart. Let me see if I can find this one. An 18-year-old mom who is a full-time high school has a 5-month-old baby and no family support. And this one really moved me because here's an 18-year-old mom who chose life for her baby, but she needs some help. So dad is not paying child support. The baby is sleeping in a bassinet, which she is quickly outgrowing. Mom needs a crib and a crib mattress and also some diapers. And one of our churches actually already stepped up to meet that request. So we're thrilled with the impact that Care Portal is having. So far, we launched, like I said earlier, in Schenectady County almost 2 years ago. A year ago, we launched in Albany County. And so far, we have served, I shouldn't say we specifically, but Justice for Orphans and our partnering churches have served, I believe the number is 1,041 children locally in the capital region. We're in 2 counties. There are 11 counties throughout that make up the capital region, and our goal is to get into all 11 counties over time as the Lord opens those doors. And a big reason why we're here with you tonight is to invite you into the opportunity to change the lives of children and families in crisis. By supporting Justice for Orphans, you can go to the text to give. Again, that's 518-219-8139. You can go to our website, justicefororphansny.org, and give there. Consider a monthly gift. That's a huge help and blessing to our organization as we grow this impact. So, anything else you want to say, Anna, as we're kind of passing the time here and they're fixing the technical difficulties?
What do you want to know?
Ooh, that's a challenging question for a mom. So how about a memory that you might have from being adopted or being in the orphanage? Because you were in an orphanage for a number of years in Ukraine. Any memories from there?
Yeah, pretty bad.
That are shareable? We don't want to get too, something you'd want to share.
I mean, there's the one time it was only me and Andre because Jordan was in another orphanage because he was younger. But like this one time we were outside playing and I got like hurt on like the seesaw because it was like metal, and like I fell out from under it and it hit my head and made a dent. Like I started bleeding, and Andre really helped me a lot with that. Except like because we were in the orphanage, you couldn't get any like medicine, so you had to have like just the staples. So having like my brother be there with me was very helpful.
So you had staples in your head and no medication to numb that? No. Wow. That's some serious stuff.
And I still have the dent in my head from it.
Yes. She did come to me one day and said, I have a dent in my head. And she does have a dent in her head. And now we know the story as to why that dent is there. So we are going to, what are we going to do, Sean? Anna has There's No Place Like Home shoes.
I do.
Very nice. Very nice. We're getting close. They're telling me we're getting close. We have 2 videos of our comedians, and we also have another amazing video about the local impact of Care Portal. So we could go to that video. Is there a chance we could go to that video? The 5-minute Care Portal video? Yes, we can. And when we come back from that video, I'm going to have some other amazing guests in the hot seat here next to me. Thank you for Anna for being. It was way more. She didn't sign up for all of this TV time, so thank you for being a good sport.
You're welcome.
The capital region of upstate New York is comprised of 11 counties. Albany, New York's capital, and historic Schenectady are the heart of the Capital District. And like every community across America, there are children and families in crisis. Last year, in Albany and Schenectady counties, Child Protective Services received nearly 6,000 calls. While not every call resulted in children being placed into foster care, every call does represent a family in crisis. These are the children we serve. We believe every child deserves a loving family and a safe home. For some children, home is with their biological parents. For others, home might be with a relative or a foster or adoptive family. Through Care Portal, we're able to bring stability and support to these families so that for children, there is no place like home.
Our overall department, when I think of Care Portal and how it's impacted us, it's just made things more efficient. Caseworkers can put a simple referral in if they need some type of a basic need for families, such as basic needs like car seats, if a family needs a car seat, if a family needs beds for kids. Those kinds of things are difficult for governmental agencies to come up with funding streams for. So it's been an integral part of helping us to provide better services to the community. It's like magic, people respond.
Care Portal is a technology platform connecting child welfare agencies with churches. County caseworkers enter requests into the system. They go out as emails to participating churches, and if they choose to respond, they're connected with the family in need.
Back in May, we felt really bad because of COVID. It was very difficult for a lot of the churches to get out there and meet requests. So we put a small team together and we were able to go out and meet a request with, there were 3 little girls. They all were diagnosed with autism. The mom, I think she was really hurting. She was definitely overwhelmed.
We delivered beds for the children and a whole bunch of food, and they're just really grateful.
You know, I was thinking again today about going up on the street to deliver those beds a couple of weeks ago with Kathy and Sandra and some of the Teen Challenge guys. And we walked into these, you know, and I mean, it was not a hotel. But we walked in there and all of a sudden, here comes Jesus in the middle. Jesus comes walking in with us. And Jesus comes walking in with us, and next thing you know, Jesus is showing up for those people. And Jesus is giving them beds. And Jesus is giving them dressers. And Jesus is praying with them.
Care Portal has assisted the families we serve in the form of prevention and preservation by providing the basic necessities that the family need to help them with stability and to become successful.
It was a great experience. Everybody is courteous, very friendly, very helpful, resourceful, great energy, great vibes. So I liked it. It makes life a lot easier. They really reach out, they really help, and I think it's a good service to the community.
The impact Care Portal has had so far, in less than 2 years, 18 churches have served over 1,000 children in the Capital Region. Justice for Orphans has a vision to implement Care Portal in all 11 Capital Region counties. To do that, we need more churches to partner with us, and we need the financial support to grow the ministry so we can serve more children and preserve more families, because for children, there truly is no place like home. We're on? We are on. We are on. So our prayers were answered and that video just played. And we just want you to know we're celebrating. Everybody, we're going to celebrate. Woo! Great. Now I have it in my hair. We're celebrating that 1,041 Capital Region children served through Care Portal by our 11 local churches. They have met over 400 requests so far. And currently there are 27 requests in the system. I read a couple of them to you earlier. But we need more Albany County and Schenectady County churches to have an impact like you just saw in that video. That video will also be up on our website very soon, so you can go back and watch it there. And we need more funding to be able to continue the platform. They're telling me, breathe, breathe. We need more funding to be able to continue to provide Care Portal here in the Capital Region and expand into the other counties. We want to remind you that you can give online by texting the word give, or also going to our website. So now I have another board member with us. Eric was here earlier, and now we have Rebecca Flack. She's also my sister-in-law, so I can claim her. Former foster parent. How many years, Rebecca, did you foster?
9 years.
They fostered for 9 years, and you've adopted
Three children
children
in January of 2019, so relatively recently.
Yes,
And
and
my two kiddos are here with me.
So
Two
this
of
is-
my three.
two of her three. The little guy is 3 years old and busy and maybe home napping, but
Right.
we have James, our little precious James. He's not running around here with us tonight, but we have Carla.
Sup?
And we have Lou.
Sup?
They're the cool kids on the block. So when you just said when these guys were adopted, so do you guys want to say anything about being adopted?
Yeah, I'm about adoption. What? About adoption, it took me till 2015 to 2019. And I finally found a good home with my mom here, and I'm very glad that I'm adopted and I finally have a family.
Are you glad too?
Yep.
What about you, Lou? Is there something you would like to say? I got nothing. He's got nothing. You got a football. Let me see that football. Yeah. Can I see it? Don't throw it. I'll drop it. All right. He handed it off. So are you wondering what football and Justice for Orphans and Care Portal have in common? Well, we want to share with you about an amazing partnership that we were privileged to be a part of last football season. The folks at Liberty University's football team, the Liberty Flames, partnered with Care Portal, and we've got to be one of 10 implementers across the United States who partnered with Liberty and one of our churches in Schenectady County, Liberty Church. No real connection there with the two Liberties. But the football players at Liberty University each week chose some requests that were in our Care Portal system in Schenectady County, and they granted the money to our local church to meet those Care Portal requests. So there's an amazing 8-minute video on our website. We didn't have time to put it in here tonight, but if you would like to learn more about that connection, you can go to our website, justicefororphansny.org, click on Care Portal, scroll down to the bottom, and there's an amazing professionally produced 8-minute video there. And we are getting to be part of that pilot program again this year. So again, starting this weekend, the Liberty Flames football players will be selecting more requests in our Schenectady County Care Portal platform. And Liberty Church will be meeting those requests. So a big shout out to Alyssa and the team there at Liberty Church. And I can't announce the college football team that will be partnering with us in Albany County, but there is a well-known college football team, I have to be careful to not say it, who has already begun partnering with us, and our folks at Loudonville Community Church are spearheading that. They've already begun meeting requests in Albany County. So those folks at that college are picking the requests each week, and they are granting the money, and it goes to Loudonville Church for the purpose of meeting those requests. So it's an amazing opportunity. They're investing a lot of dollars into local kids in need, and that whole connection comes through our Care Portal platform. So we're really excited about that, and I hope you'll go watch that video on our Care Portal, on our Justice for Orphans Care Portal page. You want to give away some prizes because we have time to do that? Yeah.
Sure. I always.
You want to hold that football? We want to give away prizes. Do we have any names? Do you have any names in the chat? There's no, she's going to go peek and check. If not, I can take names out of here, actually. You want to let's let Carla do it.
Ooh. Pick a name.
Pick a name. I have some cool prizes. We have to remember who gets what. If I forget and you don't get, yeah, can you read that?
Denise Hoffman.
Denise Hoffman, you are going to get a Care Portal t-shirt. Our friends at Care Portal provided us with some awesome swag. So that is for Denise.
Congratulations, Denise.
Yeah. Pull another one. Yeah, Lou, pull one. Don't forget, if you want to win a prize, you can put some comments in the chat.
John Bryan.
John Bryans. I don't know John, but John is going to get another Care Portal t-shirt. We got to put their names together. Rebecca's going to do that. She's my extra pair of hands here. And one more. She's been saving my neck here, Anna.
Scott Platter.
Ooh, Scott Platter. I know Scott. He does not want a Care Portal t-shirt because he probably has an awful lot of them, but he is going to get until there's more than enough. Awesome book. If you have a heart for getting your church involved in child welfare ministry, this is a great book. So we're going to send you the book, Scott. So thanks for registering and watching. And where are we at now, folks? Are we able to go to a comedian yet? We can go to a comedian. Praise the Lord. So
nice to be here. Nice to be here. Can you guys hear me through the band? All right. Okay. No, he says, all right. You know what? The Bible says that God did not create a spirit of fear, right? All right. Excellent. So I'm going to take this. I'm not afraid. No way. And, no, I'm actually, are we afraid of COVID-19? All right. No. So before I get started, just no fear. No fear. All right. Yes. How's everybody doing tonight? I was thinking I should probably remove some of this for the video. I made it! Woo! Schenectady. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the first time I have worked in months, ladies and gentlemen, so it is great to be here. Yes. I mean, I could be doing a cruise ship right now, maybe doing a TV appearance, but I'm in Schenectady. Thanks a lot, COVID-19. It's weird. It's weird. I actually, when I get back home to Rochester, New York, I have to quarantine myself for 14 days. Not because of the virus, but because I was in Schenectady. No, I love it here. This is fantastic. And how about Liberty Church, huh? Yes. Yes, we got Dave and Ryan back there running everything. Let's give them a big round of applause. Good job, guys. And the worship team has a very famous drummer because he has to sit behind bulletproof glass. It's either the Pope or the drummer for Motley Crue. I'm not sure who. Well, this is awesome, man. This is great. Like, you know, if on any particular Sunday he does a good job, you should have it filled with dollar bills and blow it all around like a game show. You know. Or if he's not doing very well, just fill it with water as he's playing. Oh, no, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. As soon as COVID-19 happened, what did they do? The very first thing they did, they shut down all the bars. Yeah, which I thought was weird because COVID-19 can't even get into a bar till it becomes COVID-21. So and I'm pretty used to social distancing. I'll tell you what, I learned about that back in high school because that's what all the girls did to me for 4 years. Yeah, they didn't call it social distancing back then. They called it, no, I don't want to go out with you. That's what they called it. Or, no, I want to be your friend. That was the other name for it. Social distancing, COVID-19. I've been having to watch from all this isolation with my family. Had to start watching daytime television. Ugh. Ugh. Hey, you know what the difference between Joy Behar and the coronavirus is? If you come down with the coronavirus, you're not totally miserable. That's what I said. I'm a big UFC fan. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. UFC stands for Ultimate Fighting Championship, and it's where two men, two warriors, two tattooed gladiators step into a ring, a caged arena, and then they beat each other up. And for some reason, my wife, she thinks that's really, really stupid, actually. And I'm watching it on TV one day, and my favorite fighter on the planet comes on the TV screen. His name's Randy Couture. Randy is 48 years old. He's in the best shape of his life. He's ripped from head to toe. They call him Captain America. Got the body of a young 20-year-old. And I'm watching him, and my wife walks into the room. She rolls her eyes at me. I said, honey, that's Randy Couture. Randy is 48 years old. That's what I'm going to look like in just 4 years. So she's excited about it. She set the oven timer. I have no idea what my excuse will be 4 years from now, but I bought myself a little time. Like, what am I going to tell her in 4 years, you know, when I'm still having to unbuckle my pants at the movie theater just to get comfortable for 2 hours? Now, every fat person in the room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The rest of you, you're just creeped out right about now. Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's a Weight Watchers back home where I'm from. It's located right next door to a movie theater. So before all this COVID stuff, every Wednesday night, all of the Weight Watchers would attend a film together. And right when the lights went down in that auditorium, you could hear the sound of belt buckles and buttons being undone. Except for me now, because I plan ahead. I wear sweatpants. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the moment I realized just how ridiculously out of shape I am. That I got to put on exercise clothing to go and do a completely stationary activity for 2 hours. My wife will say, honey, you want to go to the movie? I'll say, sure. Let me put on my jogging outfit. My wife is funny too. She got the best sense of humor. You know, we were cleaning the house the other day. Kids weren't around, and I had the stereo on, and we're vacuuming and polishing things like that. And all of a sudden, that Elton John song came on the radio. That song, Little Genie. You know that song? And it's got that one line. It says, I want to be your acrobat. I want to be your lover. And so I'm kind of joking around. I turn to my wife. I start lip syncing the lyrics to her. I want to be your acrobat. I want you to be my acrobat. I want you to be my lover. She reached over and turned the radio off, and she said, well, you better make up your mind and pick one or the other because I'm too old to do both. I became a new dad. A few years ago. And in order to do that, my wife and I, we flew all the way to China. And I learned a couple things when I first stepped off that plane in China. The first thing I learned was that I was the fattest guy in all of China. My wife, she's tall and thin and pretty, you know. Together we must have looked like the number 10 roaming around the countryside, sightseeing. They are though, man. I'll tell you what, those Chinese are fit, they're healthy, and they work out. And that really inspired me to stay right here in America, where I can just blend in. Yeah, we went over, we adopted a little boy named Simon. And my whole world changed, man, when I became a dad. Everything changed. I had no idea how much my life was about to change. I used to tour the country in a rock band. I used to have high hopes and dreams and ambitions for my life. I used to dream, hey, maybe one day I would help write that one hit song that would change the world. Now I find myself writing songs like this. There's a party on the potty and Poopy and Pee-Pee are invited. There's a party on the potty and Poopy and Pee-Pee will be there. You can tinkle on the toilet and let everybody know it, they'll be delighted. There's a party on the potty with something that smells different in the air. Everybody, there's a... You guys are a little weird. You got to work on it. You got to work on it. Everything changed. I used to love showers before I had kids, man. I used to love showers. It was like my fortress of solitude. Just me, myself, and I. Now stepping into my shower is like stepping into Toys R Us. It's me, myself, Mr. Potato Head, G.I. Joe, Barbie. You know what it's like to shower with a sit and spin? It's fun, actually. It's a lot of fun. You ought to give it a try. My wife, she'll pound on the door. She'll say, honey, can you toss me out Simon's ball? I'll say, sure. What aisle is it in? Everything changed. I learned stuff about my wife. I would have had no idea unless we had children. No idea. For example, little things. My wife is like the David Copperfield of the wet wipes. Because she can clean up an entire mess. She can make it disappear with one wet wipe. It's like a whole Vegas-style magic show going on. And meanwhile, it takes me 68 wet wipes to clean up my baby. Sometimes I got to leave him there with his legs dangling into midair and run to Walmart to purchase more wet wipes. It's magical how she does it. Everything's changed. Everything's changed. I learned two things about kids. Kids are a blessing. They are a joy. They are a gift from God. And they're really, really gross. I had no idea until I became a dad. One day I stepped out of the shower, wrapped a towel around myself. My son likes to wrestle, so he meets me in the hallway with his arms up in the air. And so I grab him, I hoist him up, and I flop backwards onto my bed. And I lift him up, and he throws up right in my eye. Nothing more refreshing than throw up first thing in the morning. At least he was tiny and he wasn't 12. Would have been all Doritos and gummy bears. It was just, they're gross. One time, I put my son on the potty, and somehow he was able to pee and hit the shower curtain. And I don't know how he did it, because I have tried and I cannot hit that shower curtain. He's gifted. He's gifted. Everything changed. But here's the second thing I learned about children, and it is far more profound than children are gross. It's this. It's that no matter how gross they can be, or even how disobedient they can be sometimes, there has never been a part of me in all my being, there's never been an ounce of my soul ever, ever, ever that has ever loved them any less. And I thought, wow, what an incredible lesson for me to learn at 40 years old from my little son, Simon. Because I thought, what if that's how God looks at me? What if there's nothing I can do to make God love me any less than he does right now? What if there's nothing I can do to make God love me any more than he does right now? Beautiful lesson from me to learn from my little son, Simon, who'd been abandoned in the woods in the middle of winter on the day he was born. He probably wasn't abandoned because of Down syndrome. We've been told Simon is the first child adopted out of China to the U.S. who has Down syndrome. But he probably was abandoned for some other reasons. See, back in the day, China was a very prideful nation, and they didn't want the rest of the world to know that they had what they considered to be imperfect children. So they would hide them and put them away and abandon them. But he had some other very visible things going on. He had a club foot, which has been pretty much corrected by now. He had what's called an imperfora anus, and that's where his intestines didn't connect to an exit. And the people who were taking care of him for the first week of his life, they were feeding him and feeding him. He was getting fussier and fussier. Finally, a British doctor discovered the issue. She said, we got to get him to surgery, saving his life for the second time in the first week of his little life. He also has on one thumb, my wife and I, we think it's really cool. He has an extra thumb. We'll say, Simon, 3 thumbs up, buddy. But he was different. And for that reason, for whatever reason, he was left in the woods. And through a miraculous set of circumstances of all the people on the planet, my wife and I got to bring him home, because there's no place like home. And my whole life changed. Everything changed. And everywhere we went, people were staring at us, everywhere. And it's not impolite to stare in the Chinese culture. And so people were looking at us. And for 2 whole weeks, we were, kind of putting up with that. And I can remember on the second week, near the end of the trip, we were sitting in a restaurant right in the middle. And all these eyes were upon us. And they were staring at us probably because we had a boy. And most of the Westerners that go there, they adopt girls. They may have also been staring at us because I was the fattest guy in their own country. But I can remember these memories flooded back to me, things I hadn't thought of in years. See, I can remember being here in our country back in the 70s. I was my parents' 5th child. I was born in 1970. And in 1971, they gave birth to my brother Matthew a year later. Matthew had Down syndrome. And a lot of my parents' friends and family said the same thing to my parents. They said, get rid of him and hide him and put him in an institution for the rest of his life. Forget about him. My parents, they didn't like that very much. Matthew was such a blessing. In fact, the very name Matthew. Anybody named Matthew here tonight? Anybody? Anyone named Matthew? The name Matthew means gift from God. And Matthew truly was a gift from God. In fact, he was such a blessing. My parents went out and they adopted 3 more children, all with Down syndrome. And that's how I grew up. God had been preparing me my whole life for the child that would one day find his home with my wife and I. And and I'm thinking about that in this restaurant in China as everyone was staring at us. And I thought about my mom. My mom had such character, I can remember a time, and again, this came to me in this restaurant. I can remember a time when there was this group of kids that used to pick on my brother in this small town in upstate New York that I grew up in. One day, my mom marched down the street. She went up to that group of kids. She said, I want all you kids to come to my house Saturday at 2:00. Now, I don't know what kind of powers my mom held over the children of our village, but they all showed up. So here it was, 2:00 Saturday, a group of kids gathered on the porch, the doorbell rings. My mom, she invites them all in. She sat them down in our living room, and then she punched them all right in the face. No, she told them about Down syndrome, how it's when a child is born with an extra 21st chromosome. And she brought my brother Matthew into the room. She began to explain the different physical and personality quirks and traits that made him unique and special to us as a family. And she said to that group of kids, he is such a blessing to us. We want him to be a blessing to you too. What a beautiful way of handling it. My mom, she had such character. I thought about my dad. My dad was a character. I'm a lot like my father in a lot of different ways. One way that I'm like my dad would be this right here. Another way I'm like my dad is this right here. Now, he passed away a few years ago. He was actually very svelte. But my dad had 11 sisters growing up. 11 sisters who were shaped exactly like me. Our family reunions look like Liberty Bell conventions. So thanks, Dad. My whole life's been very public. I toured the country in the rock band. I had a call-in radio show for teenagers for a while. I've been in a few small films, been on a couple music comedy videos that have made it all the way on to Good Morning America. I wrote a book. My dad would not want anything to do with any of that stuff. He never liked the spotlight. He always just liked to be in the background, just blend in, And I remember thinking about him. And I thought, wow, there was always a spotlight on our family. He hated it. In fact, in 1981, there was a 2-page spread about my family in the National Enquirer. That's right. That's not the National Enquirer of today with all stories about OMG, what did Justin Bieber do today? And Brad and Angelina. And that was the National Enquirer of the early 80s where 3-headed aliens gave birth to human children. And the Culp family, apparently. I was thinking about my dad, My dad, he hated bumper stickers because he thought they drew attention to your car. Now, he didn't mind driving around in a big giant white station wagon with fake wood paneling on the side. But he hated bumper stickers. He did it. He had that station wagon. The Town and Country? Remember that? Remember that station wagon? Yeah, because you were too embarrassed to drive it into the city. The wood panel. That's amazing. He hated bumper. He would get mad at other people on the road next to him who had bumper stickers. Look at that idiot. That looks ridiculous. Why would he put that on his car like that? Now, I'm about 18 years old. My dad, he comes into our house after work. He has a bumper sticker. He's all excited about it. And I was thinking about that in that restaurant in China, and I realized that that bumper sticker was my dad's quiet, simple way to answer the world who thought he and my mother were crazy for the choices they made. And on that bumper sticker, it had these words. Why be normal? And he slapped that on the back of his truck, and there it stayed for the life of his truck. My dad hated attention. This is one of my favorite stories about my dad. I want to share it with you tonight. I was a Boy Scout. Any Boy Scouts here tonight? Oh, okay, great. I thought there was an age limit, but good luck. Well, I was a Boy Scout when I was 12, and one year they had a father-son bake auction at our local troop. We had to bake something with our dad, bring it to a park on a Wednesday afternoon. They hired a professional auctioneer. So my dad, he loved peanut butter cookies. And he's like, this is what we'll make. Help raise a bunch of money for your troop. Because he had found somewhere in a magazine or from somebody at work or somewhere, he found a brand new recipe for peanut butter cookies he had never tried before. So here it is, Tuesday night before the auction. My dad rolls off the couch at about 9 o'clock at night. He goes, all right, come on, follow me. Got to go bake those cookies. I'm all excited. We go into the kitchen. We start mixing batter, start putting it on pans, start putting it in the oven. Problem was, we never once taste tested the cookies along the journey. And here it is, 10:30 at night. My dad pulls the last batch of cookies out of the oven. He hands me one. He takes one. We bite into them at the same exact time. And they were the worst peanut butter cookies you could possibly imagine. They were so bad, I threw up right in his eye. And I was 12. Gummy bears and Doritos. My dad, he has a plan. He goes, all right, look, you got school tomorrow. The stores are closed. This is what we'll do. We will submit these cookies. But we will bid on our own cookies and win them back, and nobody will ever know. Yeah, don't get ahead of me here. So here it is, Wednesday. We're all lined up at picnic tables under the pavilion. The auctioneer is up front doing his thing. Each paid a plate of pies and cakes and brownies, going for about $3 or $4 a plate back in the day. And it gets to our peanut butter cookies. My dad, he elbows me to begin the bidding. My arm goes up. And the problem was, down at the other end of the picnic tables, there was a father who must have seen this exchange between my dad and I. And he elbows his kid, Kenny, and we get into a bidding war. The plate of cookies gets up to $12. Finally, my dad grabs my arm. He goes, those cookies are horrible. We're not paying $12 for them. He lets this poor family win the cookies. Now, right after the bake auction, when all the other kids are running around comparing merit badges and playing on the playground, my dad was ushering his entire family into that giant white station wagon with the fake wood paneling and peeling out of the parking lot. Because he didn't want anybody to find out who made those cookies. Now, I was thinking about him in that restaurant in China, and I thought, wow. I realized that I had received two great gifts in China for those 2 weeks. The first one, obviously, was my son, Simon. But the second great gift that I received was that for 2 whole weeks, I got to follow in my father's footsteps. For 2 whole weeks, I got to be kind of like my dad and experienced what he experienced here in our own country back in the 70s. 2 weeks, got to be like Dad. Dad is a gift I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. And about a year later, my wife's on the internet. She's looking at the waiting child list around, well, for China in this particular case. And she discovers that just about now, the Chinese government were becoming more comfortable with allowing children with Down syndrome out of the country. There was another child, and he was spoken for. A family said they were going to adopt him. There was a third child on the waiting list, a girl named Danielle, said she had Down syndrome. My wife looked at me and she said, I think we're supposed to be her parents. And so we flew back to China, and we adopted Danielle and brought her home. And then a few months after getting her home, we get called into the doctor's office, and the doctor said, now I want you to know your daughter does not have Down syndrome. We were stunned. The doctor said she had a genetic mutation. It was much more rare. It was called Elfie syndrome, and it's where part of her 9th chromosome was missing. My wife broke down in tears because we had gotten comfortable with Down syndrome, but this was a new territory. I just kept hearing the words genetic mutation. I was getting excited. I thought, cool, my daughter's going to be an X-Man. But I realized the sovereignty of God, because if they had known that she did not have Down syndrome, something they were just becoming comfortable with allowing out of their country, but something more complex and rare, they never would have let her out. And she would have stayed in an orphanage for the rest of her life. Or worse, she would have been turned out onto the streets when she was 17 to fend for herself. And I realized then how powerful God was, because there is no place like home. So we had Simon, we had Danielle, and I'll be honest with you, for a while, when we got just Simon, because of my upbringing and how I was raised and God preparing me my whole life, I was a little arrogant because I thought, hey, our house has an extra chromosome. But then we adopted Danielle, who's missing one. She evened us right back out. About a year later, my wife is on the internet again. And right about now, I'm praying our computer would develop a virus. I had been clicking on every suspicious email link we received. OMG, what did Justin Bieber do today? I don't know. I got to find it. Nope. I might be related to a Filipino prince who has $1 million just waiting to get sent to me. I click on it, check it. Nope, no virus. And she finds out about this little boy in Ukraine. His name's Shay. And Shay has spina bifida. And my wife found out that in a lot of these Eastern European countries, that when an orphan gets to be 4 or 5 years old, if they are not yet adopted, the government will label them non-adoptable, and they will transfer them to an adult institution for the rest of their life. My wife found out from the staff in his orphanage that even though we could see video clips of him scooting on his hands and knees and lifting himself up on chairs and throwing toys to his friends, they said that once he got transferred and he was about to turn 5, that the staff at the adult institution would not want to deal with his disability, and so therefore they would most likely leave him in the bed for the rest of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, most orphans under those conditions do not survive past 17 years of age. My wife looked at me and she said, I think we're supposed to be his parents. And I said, honey, how can we do this? We don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I said, honey, haven't you noticed I get winded watching the children put on their shoes to go outside and play? Thank you. You have been a really terrific audience. I didn't know how you would be. I didn't know how I would be. I felt very rusty. I felt like the Tin Man up here. And like I needed somebody to come up and oil me at any moment, you know? Because this is my first performance in a few months, and you've been gracious, and so ever since you walked in the lobby with those Bane masks on, you know, at first I was excited. I thought, hey, I'm performing for a bunch of surgeons. We should do well tonight. And then I remembered. But thank you for being so terrific. And I want to close with one last story, and it's why I'm here tonight. When I was younger, I wanted to be a superhero when I grew up. I can remember seeing that pilot episode to the TV show Batman. That's not the cool-looking Batman of today either. That was the polyester pajama-wearing Batman of yesteryear. That's right. And I remember this one scene where Batman was climbing up a rope ladder above the Atlantic Ocean. into a helicopter. And right then, a great white shark burst out of the waves, ready to devour Batman. However, just that morning, Batman happened to pack onto his handy-dandy, rusty, trusty bat belt a can of clothes. Wait a minute. Did I hear it? Did you say it back there? The Boy Scout, did you say it? No, was it you? Bat shark repellent, to be exact. Bat shark repellent. He sprayed that shark and down into the watery depths from where it came. That really inspired me. You know, I went and put on the tightest pajamas I owned. They were all tight for obvious reasons. I went to my dad's closet and pulled out a shirt and tied it around my neck. I had my cape. I put a belt around my waist. I went into the kitchen. I began to select my bat utensils, you know. I put a pair of tongs here and a spatula there. And finally, my wife said, "You look like an idiot. You're not going out of the house like that, creeping out the kids." No, I did. I wanted to be a superhero. But as I grew older and more mature, really, lady, we're near the end here, okay? You can just give me the benefit of the doubt. My view of what a superhero truly is began to change. You see, I realized that my brothers and sisters were my heroes. Oh, thank you for the audible yawn there, Slavi. Thank you. That'll play well on the video. That's, yeah, yes. I'm sorry to keep you awake. I apologize, buddy. In fact, I think I heard one from this guy at the same exact time. Stereo yawning at my show is not what I want in my first attempt at this in a few months. Let's all get it out of our system right now. Give a big yawn and spread those germs. Okay. My brothers and sisters were my heroes because they'd wake up every day facing challenges that many of you and I couldn't imagine, and yet they would do so with a smile on their face. And my parents became my superheroes, especially in that restaurant in China when all of those memories came back to me. They became my heroes for going against the culture of their time and making radically different choices. And my wife became my ultimate superhero because she saw an injustice on the other side of the world and decided she had to do what she could do to make a difference. But none of those are the reasons I'm here tonight. The reason I'm here tonight is because I have superheroes right here in this room. Sandra and Kathy. Kathy, where are you? Please stand up, both of you. You are my superheroes. Yeah. Yes. You're superheroes. You're heroes. I hope you hear that loud and clear. Thank you for doing that for them. They need to hear that. Not only for your adoptions, but for the ministry that you started with Justice for Orphans, making an impact on people's lives, saving lives. And I was talking to Kathy earlier, and I said, you know, aren't there more people on staff from you know, Justice for Orphans other than just you and Sandra? And she was like, staff? What? You thought? She said, there's a board of directors. Could you please stand up, board of directors of Justice for Orphans? Any of the board members here? All right. You're heroes. Thank you. Thank you for being heroes tonight. And here's why I'm here. Not only because my heroes are in the room, but also because I want to challenge and encourage and inspire all of you to be heroes this evening too. At this time, we're going to pass out these cards. And in this envelope, which you will receive, you've seen them before, they're called a pledge card. That's one way that you can give tonight. There's also, you have the ability to give by texting, make it very easy. You could also give by going to that website there in the third option. You can give in that manner. So you have three very simple, easy ways to give this evening. And I'm going to ask you to do two things. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to consider writing out the biggest, fattest check you could possibly imagine. I want this to be the most expensive comedy show you have ever gone to in your life. I don't mind asking you to write out the biggest, fattest check you can possibly write. You know, the goal here for this event and the virtual event, our goal, we want to raise $60,000. And so I'm going to ask you to give as much as you possibly can tonight with one of those three options. And the second thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to consider a monthly gift to support the ministry every single month. That would help them to know that they have partners like you in the community, that every month that will come in for them. And so I'd consider, have you consider prayerfully how much you might support them with each month, if you could do that. So this is how I want to do it. I want to take 2 minutes of complete silence, no music or anything, no talking, and just have God impress on us those two numbers and write your checks out for that tonight. I want you to consider tonight being a superhero. Think about it.
Well, I needed a good laugh. I don't know about you, Kathy.
Definitely did.
So thank you for sticking with us here to the end. You are our superheroes. If you're still with us, I want to introduce you to one of my superheroes. Kathy Seawalk is a board member. She is my assistant director here at Justice for Orphans and the regional manager for Care Portal here in the Capital Region. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Sandra.
We're thrilled to have you on. What any thoughts? Because you've done a huge amount of work behind the scenes, along with our other superhero, Sean, who's been doing a whole lot of work too, saving us as we go through this new territory that we've never been through. Last year, we did a fundraising banquet for the first time ever, and we thought, well, now we know how to do that. We'll do that for 2020, and then, well, COVID, and then now we had to go into this uncharted territory of the virtual event. And well, I think we survived at least. And hopefully you were all inspired throughout the evening. And we are humbled and honored by your generosity. We know the gifts are still coming in, so I'm not really sure where we are with that, but we'll keep everybody updated. And Kathy, what would you like to say?
I would just like to say, if you are out there and you think that your church might really like to be a part of our Care Portal network, we would love to hear from you. So please give us a call or text us, and we will be happy to share with you how you can get on board.
Yeah, and especially if your church is in Albany County or Schenectady County, those are the areas that we are activated in, and we need more churches. We have 17 churches total so far between the two counties, and we really need more churches to have more impact. And of course, we also need more funding in order to be able to continue to manage this platform and expand the work of this organization. We have another prize to give away, and through our chat box, we have this t-shirt is going to Ann Kilbasa. So congratulations on the t-shirt. And we want to let you know that the event will continue to be on our website, justicefororphansny.org. It'll also be on our YouTube page and probably within 24 hours up on our Facebook page. So you can share it with your friends, let your friends, family know. You can watch it again. And we're going to edit it out a little bit so you'll be able to hear this. We'll be more around our 90 minutes that we were supposed to be. So thank you for sticking with us. Remember that you can continue to give by text 518-219-8139. You can also give online on our website, justicefororphansny.org. Again, share it on your social media and reach out to us on our website. And thank you for sticking with us through the night.
Thank you so much.
Yay!